So first of all, we've got outside a group of policemen surrounding the Big Show and arresting him, taking him off to be in the local prison cell at the police station, I assume. We get Kevin Kelly backstage speculating who will be the referee for tonight's main event, with Mankind now being taken to a local hospital. He may have said hospital, he may have said medical facility, I don't know. Then Vince arrives and tells Kelly that he's going to be the referee. And then Michael Cole announces that Jim Ross will commentate on the main event. JR clearly still suffering from the Bell's palsy when he sits down at the desk. Fink introduces Vince McMahon as the special guest referee. McMahon is not wearing a ref shirt, even though during the promo earlier on he said he had a lovely ref shirt in his bag.
Didn't pick up on that.
Just before the match is about to get underway and the competitors are about to come out, Shawn Michaels' music hits and he comes out with Mike Chioda. Michaels at the time was commissioner of the WWF. I can't remember how he became the commissioner, but it definitely played a part in a lot of stuff during this year, including, I think, the night after the Rumble, which Vince had won, Vince saying that he was forfeiting his chance at the title, and Shawn Michaels then coming out and saying, well, as you forfeited your chance at the title, the chance goes to the person who came second in the Rumble, and that was Austin, and that's why Austin got the title shot. So he was quite instrumental in a lot of the key storyline points at this point, but I can't remember how he became commissioner in the first place. The big chance for HBK, he tells McMahon that we can't have a WrestleMania without the Heartbreak Kid. Michael says Vince has got to read the WWF rulebook. He says it states there is only one man who can appoint an official at WrestleMania, and that one man is not Vince McMahon, but him. He tells Vince to get the hell out of the ring and don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. He says that the corporation is barred from ringside, and if he sees any of them, he and Vince will have a fight out back, which I didn't think was a particularly impressive threat, because to be honest, don't get me wrong, I'm sure Vince wouldn't want that, but Vince has put himself in harm's way many more times before for less. So I was a bit like, well, why is that such a big problem for him? And also he's got a corporation behind him. Why can't they just beat up Shawn Michaels? Like, I don't get it. So that was a bit of a plot hole for me.
I thought HBK in this segment was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Massive pop for him. You missed out the best line of the promo, which I was laughing my head off, is when he goes, priorities, Vincent, priorities. And I was laughing my head off at that bit. I thought it was fantastic.
I thought he was actually as well. And his appearances during this time when he was commissioner, as I said, always stuck out because they were always important. They always meant something. I can't remember why he was commissioner. I can't remember how he became.
No, I was trying to wrap my brains when you said that, thinking I'll try and impress you and remember, but I can't.
So it's then time for the main event. Steve Austin versus The Rock, WWE title match, 17 minutes long. During the match, a number of referees get involved. I think we have Mike Chioda originally, he gets knocked down. Tim White also gets knocked out. Earl Hebner turns up, gets knocked down as well. Eventually, with Vince and The Rock kicking the hell out of Austin, Mankind runs down, gets rid of Vince McMahon, and then Austin manages to hit a stunner, and Mankind counts the fall as the appointed original official for the match. Austin and Earl share a beer in the ring afterwards. McMahon is in despair. Austin celebrates. Vince confronts Austin, but gets a punch and a stunner for his troubles. I'll go first on this one. This is my match of the night. I think it's by far and away the best match of the night. I think it's dramatic, it's fun, it's really high paced. They do all of the typical Attitude Era spots. They climb through the crowd, they fight around the ring, they fight up the entranceway onto the stage where they throw each other into the various bits of the set. They get back in the ring, they hit the big moves, they have the great exchange at the end where one goes for the rock bottom, the other one goes for the stunner. Austin gets the victory, the popular babyface victory. Dare I say it, I think, and I don't know yet because obviously in a few weeks' time we will be covering WrestleMania 17, but because of the way that match ends, I think this is the most realised Austin Rock match there is, if I'm honest. I think this might be the best one because it has, for me, the ending that this match should have, which is the babyface Austin going over, winning the match, taking the title. This epic chase that Austin's been on since losing the belt the previous September to The Undertaker and Kane in their triple threat match, the title being held up as vacant, the Deadly Game tournament which The Rock won and Austin was screwed out of by the corporation's scheming, Austin then having to beat The Undertaker at rock bottom to get entry into the Rumble, then having to be number one in the Rumble in order to even take part in it, losing out to Vince McMahon, but then Shawn Michaels making his decision, and then for Austin saying, I'll put that on the line against you, Vince, in a cage match at St. Valentine's Day Massacre, which basically kept Austin chasing all the way right up to the pay-per-view before WrestleMania itself, and then put him into this match, having this match. I think it's a cracking match, furiously paced, as I say, and great heat all the way through. The fans are going nuts. There's just a chemistry between Austin and The Rock that is just hard to argue with. They just have something perfect going with each other, and I think their characters just so perfectly were different, both likable in different ways. I mean, even here, the fans are desperate to cheer for The Rock. It's just he's against Austin, and Austin's still Austin, the most popular guy going. Both really likable, but in completely different ways. Just a real testament to what you can do with really well-defined characters, that you understand who they are, what they're about. It doesn't have to be particularly complicated, but you need the characters to believe in that, who they are, and play it as if they believe that they are that person. Now, both of them will talk about how they've both turned their characters, their own real-life characters, up to 10 and just let that play out. There is a weakness in the amount of interference, the amount of referee bumps. I get that. For me, as you said, Alex, actually during the course of the show, this is what the Attitude Era was about, though. This is what they did. And I think that in the context of the time and of this match, I think it's okay. I don't have a problem with it, really. Also, I think it's the perfect way to end the Vince-Austin feud. So we've been going since WrestleMania 14, effectively. The night after, Vince asks Austin if he's going to do things the hard way or the easy way. Austin says he's going to do it the hard way and asks the fans, if you want me to keep doing it the hard way, give me a hell yeah. They give him a massive hell yeah. Vince and Austin is off to the races, and then we have this year-long feud. We had the match between the two in the main event of the previous In Your House pay-per-view, and then you get to WrestleMania, and Austin's only last thing to do in this feud is to beat The Rock and win back the WWE title that Vince had screwed out of him the previous autumn. That's the end of the feud. There's no need to keep this feud going after that point. And WWE originally were going in that direction. They took Vince out of the equation. They made Shane the thorn in his side. They even had Vince, as you said, thank Austin for saving Stephanie. There was even the sense that, I think it was at the May pay-per-view, Vince was almost trying to help Austin defeat The Undertaker, but Shane was pulling the strings and managed to get the help The Undertaker win. And then they revealed Vince as the higher power, and that was a massive, massive mistake. If they had not done that, I think this would have been even more perfect. But at this moment, this is exactly what's required. It's a great end to one of the best storylines in the history of the business, and I think it's a great match. Why don't we go to you next, Alex?
I know that I obviously didn't pick it as my match of the night, but it's not to say it's not a fantastic match. It is amazing. It's an amazing match. I completely agree with you. Everyone wants to see Austin win because of this long storyline with Vince McMahon, and it's the perfect ending to the storyline. It is a great match. The only thing that I didn't like was, I'm not a big fan of when wrestling goes into the crowd, because for me, I just thought it was getting a little bit boring, because all you're seeing is them punching in the crowd, and I did quite like seeing the crowd reaction, because they are I've said it earlier, they're ravenous, which is quite good to see. But I've never been a lover of that, and that's one of the things that put the European Championship match over it for me in terms of match of the night. Whether that's a minute thing or not, I don't know, but that's why I just was a little bit bored in that part. The backdrop on the lights, as you said about the set, it just looked brutal, really, really brutal, especially with his knee in the brace. And the other thing that I didn't like was, and again, we can't avoid it, the chair shot to Mike Chioda was absolutely sickening. It was sickening, awful to see. So that was the other thing why it wasn't my match of the night. But again, I'm not saying it's a bad match, because it really isn't. It's a fantastic match, and I agree with pretty much everything that you said with regards to the storyline. The right person won on that night. It's similar to Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania 30. Everyone wanted to see Austin win that match, and everyone got to see it, and it's brilliant ending.
I would put it closer to Hogan versus Andre, in that it's entirely expected that Austin will win, and it's entirely expected that Hogan would win coming out of WrestleMania 3, but it's absolutely what everybody wants, and the reason they're watching is to see it, because they're pretty certain it's going to happen, so they just want to see it. I think the Daniel Bryan one's a bit different, because there was probably a more of a, is he actually ever going to win this? Like, are they ever going to give him the time he needs? This is different. This is a period where WWE are doing the right thing. They're having Austin win all the time, but you are tuning in to see that, and that's why it's a big deal.
Yeah, I agree with that. Much better.
This was absolutely fantastic. I'll make absolutely no bones about it. There's whether there's bias or not, I don't care. For me, The Rock is to this day, the Rock for me is probably one of my personal favorites ever, and is the reason I started watching wrestling to begin with. There's an innate charisma that man has that just pulls you in, and you want to see what he does. And you mentioned it there, Ben, the chemistry between Stone Cold and The Rock. I mean, as a wrestling fan, for me, this is the definitive rivalry. Whenever you hear anybody talk about wrestling, for me, it starts. You talk about Austin and The Rock. That's, if ever you're going to try and convince people to watch or things like that, that's the type of thing that you show them, is these two. And this was wonderful to be able to see. The match, it felt like a big brawl. I quite enjoyed the stuff in the crowd. Them going, because they didn't just go up into the crowd. They went right to the top of the ramp. It felt like they were going all around the arena. Taking the fight to each other. Which was absolutely great. But what I liked about it as well is that this wasn't perfect by any stretch. There was one or two little bit clumsy moments. There was a bit of a miscommunication with like a sort of double clothesline spot that they did, and that looked a little bit sort of clumsy. And the backdrop, which I think you both mentioned, I didn't like that either. In fact, I thought that was actually quite poor, because you could tell where when Rock did the backdrop of where Austin was probably going to land. So I thought that was quite, in hindsight, a bit of a poor call. But yeah, like I said, the stuff in the crowd brawling all around was awesome. There is, my God, there is nobody who takes a stunner as good as The Rock. My brother have always called it the flop like a fish. He really does just bounces up as soon as it's just perfect. Makes it look absolutely brilliant. You won't be surprised to hear that this was my match of the night. I actually believe it or not, I want a little bit more. Like when it finished, I was like, oh no. I was actually quite disappointed that it finished, and to me it felt a bit short. So I actually would have liked a little bit more. But what kind of made me not feel that way, because to be honest, had that happened and then it was okay, show goes off the end, that was it, I would have been thinking, oh damn, I wish I had a little bit more. But the post-match celebration with Steve, I actually thought was great. And again, Ben, it's something that we have talked about a couple of times now, where that sort of show closing moment where they go off the air and you feel like something important has happened. The fact that Austin got to beat Vince up afterwards and give him the stunner, which everybody badly wanted. They're having beers, coming back into they're having the beers on the top rope and in the ring. And I mean, God bless Earl Hebner. That Austin made that man's night there. You could tell, aside from Earl Hebner, if ever he's had children or got married, I'm assuming he'd probably done both. But that was probably one of the happiest moments of his life. You could tell he looked so happy. It was great. So yeah, the post-match celebration was amazing. It felt like the culmination of something special. Absolutely fantastic end to a show. Absolutely adored it. Like I said, my match of the night. And hell, I'll throw it in there as well. Now, there's no other choice for MVP of the night for me than Stone Cold Steve Austin as well. This was his show. He was the man again.